The rising cost of living across this country has put extra pressure on people who earn no more than the minimum wage, especially in places like Ontario, where the rate hasn't been going up. Today, across that province, protesters rallied for change. Stephen D'Souza has the story.
Healthcare worker Estina Sebastian-Gitan makes Ontario's minimum wage. The mother of two says even getting the basics is a struggle.
Sometimes I skip my medication in order to make ends meet.
As costs rise, organizers say workers like her are being left behind.
So someone making $10.25 right now is almost 20% below the poverty line. We're talking about around $19,000 a year.
Nationally, Nunavut leads the way with the minimum wage of $11 an hour. Ontario is tied for fourth with BC and Manitoba, while Alberta has the lowest despite a recent increase. In some provinces, the minimum wage is tied to inflation, but Ontario's has been frozen for the last 3 years. The province has created an advisory panel to study how to raise it in a way that will satisfy both workers and businesses. Ontario's Minister of Labour says linking wages to inflation is one option being considered.
We want to depoliticize the process. We want to make sure that fairness and predictability is the key hallmark.
While protesters here are targeting Toys R Us for its opposition to an increase, some business groups are in favor, as long as any increase is gradual.
We're very adamant that 40% increases in 1 year is too much. It would be too much for our members to absorb.
Economist Jim Stanford says raising minimum wage actually helps retailers.
If you put money into people's wage bills, then they're going to go out and spend it, especially those at the lower end of the labor market who don't save very much. With
5 million Canadians living below the poverty line, protesters say something has to be done.
Increasing the minimum wage to $14 an hour takes you 10% above the poverty line. So we're not talking about a lot here.
Estina Sebastian-Gitan has this advice for the provincial panel.
And live like us and see it, feel it, and then make a decision.
Then she says provincial leaders would see that $14 is just a start. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, Toronto.